what age was it when you felt that, this is what I want to do?
Because I've always been inclined towards sports, and I wanted to represent India in football.
What does that moment mean to you, being in a dark theater and being transported to another world altogether?
Oh, it's escapism. I mean, it's one of the highest forms of stimulation for me.
When is Tiger Shroff carrying the legacy of Bruce Lee forward on an international stage?
There are definitely some solid talks in the pipeline. I've had the privilege and chance to meet a lot of esteemed people from there. I don't think there's anybody in my age category right now in terms of the action hero genre space.
You're talking about Spider-Man, and I'm imagining like Tiger Shroff as maybe the next Spider-Man.
I had auditioned for Spider-Man. I had sent them my tapes also and my show reel, and they were quite impressed as to what I could do. And my pitch to them was that I'd save you a lot of money on your VFX because I can do most of what Spider-Man can do.
A philosophy you try to live your life by.
I definitely, want to beat myself every day.
I spoke to Disha Patni a few weeks back, and she called you her guru.
She's great in what she does, and I'm nobody's guru. I don't think I've earned the title of to be anybody's guru. Hi guys, this is Tiger Shroff, and you're watching Connect FM Canada with Faridoon. Stay connected, guys.
Tiger Shroff, welcome on Connect FM Canada.
Thank you so much. Happy to be being interviewed by you again. Is always fun.
Thank you so much. And so, Tiger, basically, as I told you that I'd like to know your top 5 films that you have always liked in terms of other people and films that have made a difference to you. But before that, I'd like to ask you that what does watching films mean to you since childhood? What is it that really drives you?
Well, I've grown up as an actor's son, and I remember as a child, every evening I used to watch one film of my father before sleeping. Because my grandmother, my dad's mom, used to collect all his VHS cassettes in those days they used to have.
Of course.
And I remember watching one film every night before sleeping with my father. So I think that had a major influence on my childhood. And I was always amazed by my dad and who he was.
Right, and I find it so fascinating that Jackie sir, he had so many amazing things to say about his mom and what she meant for him. I think it's a fascinating sort of experience to just listen him talk about his mother.
Yeah.
Does it inspire you in a way?
I mean, it's definitely inspiring because I think I got those values from my dad. I look up to my mother a lot. I respect her a lot, obviously. We all do. And, she was his world and everything he did was for her. And similarly, my inspiration are my parents, and everything I do, whenever I feel low, whenever I feel I can't go that extra mile, I think of them and I get that extra strength to keep going.
Amazing. All right. So talking about movies, Tiger, when was it? What age was it when you felt that this is what I want to do? This really motivates me. Movies.
Ever since I was a child, because of who I was, I think my classmates, everybody used to keep teasing me about being a hero and this and that, and I never really took it seriously because I've always been inclined towards sports. And I wanted to represent India in football. So not until very late did I sort of realize that I wanted to become an actor and follow in the family profession. So I would say just a few months before Hero Panthi, I would say, yeah. I think that was around 2012 when I signed the film. I was, I think I was around 20 years old.
Great. And so before we go into your top 5 films, What does that moment mean to you, being in a dark theater and being transported to another world altogether?
Oh, it's escapism. I mean, it's the uh, it's one of the highest forms of stimulation for me, and it's something that is an irreplaceable experience. When the lights go off, when the visual, when the audio kicks in, it's like you're, for that brief period, everything else doesn't exist, and you're just immersed in the world in front of you. And I think that's why the whole cinema, the theatrical experience will always, be irreplaceable.
All right, so Tiger, coming to your top five films of all times, films that you have loved watching, idolized, maybe watched again and again. They've made a difference to your life. Maybe there's a dialogue that has stayed with you and has inspired you. Maybe a scene that has always inspired you and you've wanted to emulate or maybe better. So let's have top five films of Tiger Shroff.
The top five films, they vary on the spectrum, really. It's so I would say, because growing up in my house, and being so heavily influenced by my father, I would say Parinda being one of
Right,
my
of
top.
course.
Um, I would say Enter the Dragon was
Okay, so let's take one film at a time. So why Parinda? What?
Parinda, because of just the, again, the world Mr. Vinod Chopra had created. The characters, each character had such strong backstories and such so much impact. It
Of course.
it's not like one character stuck out in that film. Every character, you know just added layers and layers to the film, and everybody was on top of their game, I think, in that film. So everything just came together so beautifully in Parinda. Every scene, every frame was just, I think, you know a school for us actors, and I think so much to learn from.
And it
So
is said one of the best performances of Jackie sir.
yeah, a funny story is that I was born that year, I think 1990, and my father had got Best Actor at the film fair for that, and he had taken me up on stage as an infant. So that's one memory which, well, I don't have that memory because I was too young, but I've seen, it's on YouTube, those videos, so it's quite nostalgic, really. So that's definitely.
That particular scene, I think it's in the other scene where all those pigeons they're flying towards the climax. I,
Yes,
I
sir.
think it's iconic. Maybe I think that particular scene
Oh
is
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially that climax, like you just said, is just so strong in my head, and my father's expressions, and of course Nana Patekar ji, the way he had performed that scene. There was just so much impact that it's just so vivid, and it's so clear in my head. I can watch that scene again and again.
fantastic. Okay, second one is Enter the Dragon. You're saying.
Enter the Dragon, obviously, because I think that film sort of changed my life, and I I sort of knew what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, not as an actor, but how I wanted to sort of lead my life, what I wanted to look like. And I was just fascinated by what Bruce Lee did, because we had never seen anything like that, what he brought to celluloid. And that form of expression, that form of physical expression, that was so engraved in my subconscious that I knew this is the blueprint that I want to follow. This is what I want to be, what I want to look like. I want to possess these skills. So that's when it sort of changed my life. I think I was around 4 years old, and I got into my martial arts journey and started practicing. And I picked up things a lot faster than my classmates and this and that. So it got me a little bit of attention also in school, because, it was something that I could excel at. And so I would say that film definitely had a huge inspiration, and it was a huge trigger for me in my life.
Okay, so when is Tiger Shroff carrying the legacy of Bruce Lee forward on an international stage? We've spoken about your Hollywood debut earlier and that your aspirations, but I'm sure that you would want to take Bruce Lee's legacy forward.
So fingers crossed. I mean, there are definitely some solid talks in the pipeline. I've had the privilege and chance to meet a lot of esteemed people from there, and they seem to be very interested in what I do. And there is a void in the action genre, especially in terms of the action that I do in my films. Ever since Jackie Chan, there hasn't been a crossover action hero per se, in this space at least. I mean, we have, the amazing Tom Cruise, we have the likes of, Jason Statham, Sylvester Stallone, obviously huge mega stars and amazing in the action genre. But I think uh, they're quite senior in, in the industry. I don't think there's anybody in my age category right now in terms of the action hero genre space. So that's something that I'm hoping to explore. I'm hoping to, express my talents on the Western stage and hopefully represent our country someday soon. That's my goal.
No, definitely. This is something that all of us were waiting for with bated breath. All right, so third film.
Third film, I'm a big superhero fan. Especially Spider-Man. Again, I remember seeing Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. That was the first Spider-Man I saw, and I was just blown away by Sam Raimi's vision and his storytelling of Spider-Man, uh, of the emotion that that character had, how human Spider-Man was, how vulnerable he was. I that for me, I was very young, and I just felt so much for that character, and obviously visually we had not seen anything like that. Uh, so it was something that blew my mind, and it's very aspirational. Films like that, the underdog superhero. Um, it's very aspirational, and I sort of try and imbibe those qualities in my own life.
With this fascination for say Oriental now and say Asian heroes, especially in say Hollywood. You're talking about Spider-Man, and I'm imagining like Tiger Shroff as maybe the next Spider-Man, because that is something that it's something that's very imaginable, and I'm sure that you would love to dig your teeth into something of that nature.
I mean, if I tell you, you probably won't believe me, but I had auditioned for Spider-Man. I had sent them my tapes also, and my show reel, and they were quite impressed as to what I could do. And my pitch to them was that I'd save you a lot of money on your VFX because I can do most of what Spider-Man can do. so yeah,
That's
I
absolutely
got pretty
true.
close, and I got called back, and unfortunately for the franchise, obviously they have an amazing cast now, but I was quite close to being a part of that.
Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. But I
Let's
genuinely
go.
hope that it happens. All right, the fourth one.
Fourth one, wow, this is very tough. See, as an action buff. If you're not inspired by the Rocky franchise, then I think you have to go and watch that, because that's like a Bible for me. In terms of my mold as an action hero. Sylvester Stallone has he brings the right balance of that vulnerability, that heroism, in terms of what he stands for, what he represents, the goodness in all his characters, uh, and of course the physical package that he brings. We had never seen anything like that um, in those days. And then the way he sort of took that one character, and till date, that character is so relevant in everybody's lives and so fresh in everybody's minds. So the impact that he's created the Rocky franchise, in terms of not only just the visual but also the audio. I mean, it's perhaps on everybody's gym playlist. It's so
Of
inspiring. It's
course,
so
of course,
uh,
of course. I have the tiger.
aspirational. Yeah, exactly. And so Rocky definitely being a strong contender in there. And
Okay, and Tiger, what is the latest on Rambo remake?
the latest on
You're talking about
Rambo
Sylvester
is,
Stallone. I think we'll have to.
you know, I myself have to sort of dig my teeth into Rambo again very soon. Right now, I have just completed Gunpat, and I will be filming Badi Miyan Chote Miyan before that, and then
Of
I get
course.
into Rambo. So there's still a while for Rambo. I think I start in May next year. But what Siddharth Anand, what Rohit Dhawan has done with the script, is definitely going to be a treat for the audiences, and it's definitely going to be a spectacle in terms of action that we've never seen before.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I'm quite confident about that one. Yeah,
And you'll save a lot of money with the action by doing it yourself.
yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
All right, and fifth film.
again, because I'm so heavily. Actually, I have two. Uh, I'm gonna have to say Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm just a huge fan of Steven Spielberg and his vision. And Back to the Future specifically, again, because of the characters. I'm a huge fan of Michael J. Fox as an actor. I love how I love that youthful energy he brings to his characters. I love how he uses space as an actor. You know, he's he's just outstanding in every scene, and if you've seen that movie, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Of
Every
course,
time
of course.
he just brings it alive. And yeah, huge fan of Michael J. Fox.
You said two films.
I was going to say Rumble in the Bronx. That was Jackie Chan's crossover film from the east to the west. That's what broke him into a Hollywood superstardom. So I would say Rumble in the Bronx, because we hadn't seen anything like that. I mean, doing action is one thing. Doing action comedy is a totally different ball game altogether. It's not easy to express not only with the face but also with the whole body while doing action. So he makes it look so easy, and I think he's one of the most underrated actors, Jackie Chan. He's such a brilliant actor that we don't realize the genius that his timing is something that I don't very few can do.
Right. So, you talk about the comedy part of it. Over the years, the way you have literally discovered your comic timing, both in real life as well as obviously in movies, is something that is very, very fascinating. I think your interviews tend to be you can be very funny. I saw the Coffee with Karan recently, and even in my interviews in the past, I think you have those one-liners which can be like literally hilarious.
I mean, that I credit to you, because you make me comfortable. Like I said, I like your interviews. I enjoy the process, and I'm comfortable talking to you. So maybe that's why. So I can't take the credit for that.
No, you should definitely, because I think no, basically I'm saying that from your first interview for Hero Panti that we did, you're this shy person, and the way you're gradually coming out and evolving, especially in terms of sense of humor and like say witty one-liners, especially the ones that you have for Kriti Sanon, I think they they are hilarious, and a lot of other.
Thanks.
You had received a unanimous positive feedback for War. What was that one compliment that really, really mattered to you, apart from Hrithik Roshan, of course?
Okay, I was just going to say Ritik's compliment.
He told us that for the next 50 years, Tiger Shroff is going to be the.
Yeah, that was really kind of him to say. I was actually going to say that, but I would have to say not a compliment, but I think my mother and father, they teared up watching me. So more than that was just enough. That expression of theirs was more than enough.
All right. If you have to say something to Govindaji, what will you tell him?
I think I'd say, sir, there's nobody like you. We've never seen a talent like you, and I don't think we'll ever see a talent like you.
He was outstanding in Bade Miyan Chote Miyan.
He's outstanding
Brilliant.
in everything.
Of
He's
course.
just, I mean, we don't realize the genius of that man, and there's no full package hero like that. I've not seen somebody who's so effortless, who has that comic timing, who has that, can bring that heroism, is such an amazing dancer. Ah, मतलब जितना बोलूं उतना कम पड़ेगा उनके लिए.
In the last 10 years, what is something that has not changed about you?
I've never not had a six pack, I guess. I've never not been out of shape in the last 10 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. How was the process during pandemic for you, especially when it came to fitness?
I mean, I made do with certain pieces of equipment that I had in my house, luckily. And I just, I used to watch Rocky 4 a lot, how he used, his surroundings, how he used nature to exercise and to train. So that's pretty
Amazing.
much how I did it as well. Yeah.
But I must tell you that you inspire me a lot when it comes to fitness. You can see that I'm looking pretty okay with
You are
regards
absolutely.
to.
You've
So,
always been fit for as long as I've known you.
yeah, so first thing that I did once I came over here, I joined a recreation center where I'm doing my gym and swimming,
Fantastic.
very religiously. But and that particular tip that you gave me about water, drink 1 liter of water first thing in the morning when you wake up, I think it works beautifully. The feeling that you get from
Oh yeah,
within, yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it gets the system going, and it's the most simple things you do for your body, the most basic things that we have been taught. Those make the biggest difference, honestly speaking. Whether it's sleeping on time, whether it's getting enough sleep, whether it's eating on time, hydrating. I mean, your body is 75% water. So it
yeah.
only makes sense that you need to put that into your body time and again.
Amazing. All right. Uh, One thing that you really find fascinating about Akshay Kumar.
Just how, you know, how his discipline is unmatchable. His his zeal and zest for work still is, his energy. I don't think any of the youngsters can match his energy even now. He's just, an absolute inspiration on screen, of course, but off screen as well, more for me.
Great. Out of all the characters you have played so far, which one is it that is closest to your heart?
I think Ronnie, because he's sort of given me my most successful franchise in terms of Bagi, and I'm hoping that that character lives on. I mean, in the first one, he was a rebel for love. He took down a whole building for his love. That got accepted. The second one, I took down a whole jungle, for his love. And then on the third one, he faced a whole country by himself. And I'm just really lucky and grateful to the audiences for accepting me in that role, and for allowing me to do certain things which are quite larger than life. So very kind as to uh, kind of the audience to accept me in that role, and to uh, allow me to do the impossible. Yeah.
I must tell you this that Rocky 3 released, pandemic hit in. It was doing exceptionally well, and then
Baki,
sorry, मुझे basically
that's a huge compliment.
So, but I think the action is outstanding in Bagi. Um, I spoke to many actors during pandemic, and I could see that a lot of people, they got very restless with the entire patience game and the fact that movies are not coming in theaters and
Right.
all that. But the sheer patience and equanimity with which you took the fact that Bagi 3 could not get the requisite numbers in at the
Yes.
box office, I found that really fascinating. Where you get that mental restedness that you have, that it's like a zen like quality. It does not really affect you.
I mean,
You accept things the way they are. Because I've seen a lot of people, I've spoken to a lot of actors, and they've had a tough time. I'm sure that you're aware of as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I would be lying if I, if I wasn't one of them. And I had high hopes from Baghi 3. I mean, with 50% occupancy and what it had done, in 1 week, I think for us, that was a victory in itself. So I had a lot to be grateful for. Obviously, the safety of people mattered more at the time. So it would have been a very selfish thought of me to say, "Arey yaar, picture chalni chahiye, picture chalni chahiye thi," and people should have still gone to the theaters. I couldn't have thought like that. I was very grateful for whatever little it did. If you think about it, in 1 week doing 96 with 50% occupancy, I think that was quite a victory in itself. So a lot to be grateful for. But yeah, I mean, the dream would have been for the film to have its actual lifetime run. But
Absolutely.
again, there were bigger things at stake. So really, I couldn't say much.
So what about Baghi 4? When is it happening?
Baghi 4 is right now being conceptualized and created right now. Sajid sir is right now very busy with manifesting that.
All right. Okay. Uh, a philosophy you try to live your life by.
A philosophy that I live my life by. I'm very competitive with myself. So I always think that if there was another Tiger Shroff, then it would not be fun for me. I definitely want to beat myself every day. I want to be better than the Tiger Shroff of yesterday. If somebody asks me what my mantra is, then I always tell them I wake up every morning asking myself a question: what am I going to do today to get better than I was yesterday? And before sleeping, if I don't have an answer to that question, I haven't really had a productive day. So I need to improve. I need to get better. I need to grow in some way or the other every day.
Right. So I spoke to Disha Patni a few weeks back, and she called you her guru.
Okay.
In terms of the equanimity that you have and the placidness and the level of spirituality. So कुछ आप कहना चाहेंगे दिशा से? आपको गुरु मानती हैं?
I mean, we've been friends for the longest time. We do share similar interests, and yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I think she's great in what she does, and I'm nobody's guru. I don't think I've earned the title of to be anybody's guru. I'm a learner and a seeker myself, and so I continuously learn every day.
Okay, so your Ganpat co-star Kriti Senan is of the opinion that you flips a lot. I would like to say something to her.
I would love to say a lot to her, which I can't say right now for that compliment. I would like that comment rather than compliment.
All right. How excited are you for Ganpat?
I'm most excited about Ganpat because it's a very, very different Tiger Shroff. There are a lot of things that come in with a Tiger Shroff film. In terms of certain cheap thrills, if I may. That's there, but there's a very different package that we're bringing, and the world that Vikas Bell has created is something that is out of this world. And I think I literally mean it's out of this world. It's something we've not seen before. And I've had an amazing time working with Pooja Entertainment and Vashuji and Jackie, and it's just been an amazing, creative, healthy partnership that we've all had, and there's a lot riding on this film for us, so fingers crossed.
Fantastic. Tiger, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on being fabulous the way you are, and looking forward to Ganpat and all your future ventures. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have an amazing trip and come back soon.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks a lot. Good night.
All right. See you. Good night. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's all we have from Connect FM Canada. Stay connected.